Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be sharing 5 deeply unsettling true stories about walking home alone when the familiar path becomes a nightmare you can't wake up from. Make sure to like the video and leave a comment below to let us know where you're watching from. That way, you won't miss any of our stories again. Now let's begin. My name is Sarah, and what happened to me 3 years ago still makes me check over my shoulder every single night. I was 22, working the closing shift at a diner on the edge of town. It was a Tuesday in October, one of those cold, misty nights where the streetlights barely cut through the fog. My shift ended at 11, and like an idiot, I decided to walk home instead of calling for a ride. It was only 15 minutes. What could go wrong? Everything. The first 5 minutes were fine. Normal. I had my earbuds in, listening to a podcast, trying not to think about how empty the streets were. But then, I felt it. You know that feeling? When every cell in your body screams that something's wrong. I pulled out one earbud. Footsteps. Behind me. Matching my pace exactly. I told myself I was being paranoid. It's a public sidewalk. People walk at night. But when I sped up, the footsteps sped up. When I slowed down, they slowed down. My heart was hammering. I didn't want to look back. Isn't that what they always say? Don't look back. But I couldn't help it. I glanced over my shoulder. A man, tall, wearing a dark hoodie, about 30 feet behind me. And he was smiling. This wide, unnatural smile that I could see even in the dim light. I started walking faster. He matched me. I crossed the street. He crossed too. I was 4 blocks from home, and I was starting to panic. That's when I remembered something my dad told me. If someone's following you, never lead them to your house. So I made a decision. There was a 24-hour gas station 2 blocks away. I'd go there, get inside, call someone. I broke into a jog. I could hear him speed up behind me, the footsteps getting closer, faster. I was running now, my bag bouncing against my side, my breath coming in gasps. The gas station lights appeared through the fog like a beacon. I burst through the door. The clerk, this older guy with tired eyes, looked up, startled. "There's someone following me," I gasped, pointing outside. He looked past me through the window. His face went pale. "Get behind the counter." Now, I didn't argue. I ducked behind the counter, and he pulled out his phone, dialing 911. I peeked over the edge. The man was standing right outside the glass door. Just standing there, staring, still smiling. His hands were pressed against the glass, and I could see his breath fogging it up. The clerk was talking to the police, giving them our location, but the man didn't leave. He stood there for what felt like hours, but was probably only 5 minutes. Then, just as we heard sirens in the distance, he tilted his head to one side, like he was studying me, and walked away, disappeared into the fog. When the police arrived, they searched the area, found nothing, but they took my statement and offered to drive me home. As we pulled up to my apartment, one of the officers said something that still haunts me. "You did the right thing, not going home. We've been getting reports about a man following young women in this area for weeks. 3 of them didn't make it to a public place in time." I asked what happened to them. He just looked at me and said, "You don't want to know." I never walked home alone again. But here's the thing that really terrifies me. 2 weeks later, I was looking through old photos on my phone, deleting blurry ones, freeing up space. And I found something I don't remember taking. A photo from that night. Timestamp 10:47 p.m., before I even left work. It was a picture of the diner's back door, the one I used to leave. And in the darkness beyond it, barely visible, was a tall figure in a dark hoodie. He'd been waiting for me before my shift even ended. My name is Marcus. I'm 28 now, but this happened when I was 19, and I swear I've never told anyone the full story until now. I was visiting my girlfriend at her college, about an hour from where I lived. We'd spent the whole evening together, lost track of time, and by the time I left her dorm, it was past midnight. My car was parked on the other side of campus, maybe a 20-minute walk. The campus was dead quiet. Most students had gone home for winter break. and the few who remained were probably asleep. The streetlights cast these long, eerie shadows between the buildings, and a light snow had started to fall. I was cutting through this pathway between two academic buildings when my phone died. Just completely dead, even though it had been at 30% a minute ago. I cursed under my breath, but I knew the way. Or at least, I thought I did. I should have reached the parking lot in 10 minutes, but 15 minutes passed, then 20. The buildings around me started looking unfamiliar, wrong. I'd walked this route dozens of times, but nothing looked right. The architecture seemed off, older, more deteriorated. Windows were boarded up, graffiti-covered walls that should have been clean. Then I realized there were no street lights here. No lights at all. Just moonlight filtering through the clouds and snow. I was lost, on a campus I knew by heart. I decided to turn back, retrace my steps. But as I turned around, I saw someone standing at the end of the pathway. A woman, just standing there in the falling snow, completely still. "Excuse me," I called out. "Can you tell me how to get to the west parking lot?" She didn't move, didn't respond. I started walking toward her, thinking maybe she hadn't heard me. But with each step I took forward, she took one step back, always maintaining the exact same distance between us. "Hey, I just need directions." She stopped backing away, and then she spoke. "You shouldn't be here." Her voice was wrong, hollow, like it was coming from far away. "I'm just trying to get to my car," I said, my voice shaking now. "I'm lost." "No," she said. "You're not lost. You're somewhere you were never supposed to find." Before I could respond, she turned and ran. Not jogged. Ran. Impossibly fast. Her figure disappearing around a corner. Every instinct told me to run in the opposite direction. But that corner, that's where I'd originally been heading. I had to go that way. I forced my legs to move, walking toward where she'd disappeared. When I turned the corner, I froze. I was standing at the edge of a street I'd never seen before. Old row houses lined both sides, all of them dark, all of them looking abandoned. But the terrifying part? There were people, dozens of them, standing in doorways, in windows, on porches, all completely still, all staring directly at me. I counted them. I don't know why, but I counted. 37 people. Men, women, different ages. All dressed in clothes that looked old-fashioned, like from the 1950s or 60s. None of them moved. None of them blinked. I was paralyzed with fear. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Then, in perfect unison, all 37 of them took one step toward me. I ran. God, I ran faster than I've ever run in my life. I didn't look back. Didn't stop. I just ran blindly through the snow, my heart exploding in my chest, until suddenly, I burst out onto a familiar street, the main campus road. Lights everywhere, a few cars passing by, the normal world. I collapsed against a lamppost, gasping for air, my whole body shaking. When I finally looked back at where I'd come from, there was just a normal pathway between buildings, well lit, clean, the way it should be. I told my girlfriend I couldn't drive that night. I was too shaken up. She thought I'd had a panic attack or something. Maybe I did. But here's what I found out later that makes this so much worse. I looked up the history of the campus. Turns out, back in the 1960s, there was a residential street where I saw those houses. A whole neighborhood. But there was a fire. A massive fire that killed 37 people. The university bought the land afterward and built over it. I don't know what I walked into that night. Some kind of memory? A loop in time. All I know is this. Sometimes when I'm walking alone at night, I feel them watching me. Those 37 people. And I'm terrified that one day, I'll turn a corner and find myself back on that street. And this time, I won't be able to leave. My name is Emily, and I need to tell someone what happened, even if you don't believe me. Last summer, I was staying with my aunt in this small town in Vermont while I figured out what to do after college. It's one of those picture-perfect places. White churches, tree-lined streets. Everyone knows everyone. Safe. Boring even. I'd gotten into the habit of taking evening walks. Around 9 p.m., when it was cooling down but still light enough to see, there was this loop I'd do, past the town square, through a residential area, along a creek, and back, about 45 minutes total. It was on my 5th or 6th walk that I first saw him. A jogger, a man, probably in his 30s, running in the opposite direction. Nothing unusual, except he was smiling. This huge, bright smile, like he'd just heard the best news of his life. As he passed me, he said, "Beautiful evening." His voice was cheerful, too cheerful. I gave a polite nod and kept walking. Thought nothing of it. The next evening, same time, same spot, there he was again. Same smile, same greeting. Beautiful evening. This happened every single night for a week. Same place, same time, same words, same smile that never quite reached his eyes. I started timing my walks differently. Left at 8:30 instead of 9. There he was. Left at 9:30. There he was. It didn't matter what time I went. He was always at that exact spot on the path when I reached it. After 2 weeks, I mentioned it to my aunt. She got this weird look on her face. "What does he look like?" she asked. I described him. Tall, athletic build, sandy blonde hair, always wearing a red running shirt. Her face went pale. "Emily, stay inside after dark. Please." She wouldn't tell me why. Just kept insisting I stop my evening walks. But I'm stubborn. I thought she was being overprotective. So the next night, I went out again. Big mistake. He was there as always. But this time, as he jogged past me, he didn't just say his usual greeting. He stopped, turned around, and started jogging backward, keeping pace with my walking. "You walk here every night," he said, still smiling. "I've noticed." Yeah," I said. Try to sound casual. "Good exercise." "Me too. I run here every single night. Same path, same time. For 3 years now. Never miss a day." Something about the way he said it made my skin crawl. 3 years. Same path. Every night. That's dedicated. I managed. He laughed. It sounded wrong. You have to be dedicated. You have to keep the routine. If you break the routine, bad things happen. I forced a smile and started walking faster. He matched my pace, still jogging backward, that smile never faltering. "You should join me sometime," he said. "We could run together. I could show you the full route. There are parts of this path most people don't know about." "Thanks, but I'm good," I said, my heart pounding now. "Are you sure? I really think you should see them. The hidden parts, where the path goes when it's really dark." I didn't respond, just kept walking. He jogged beside me for another minute, the longest minute of my life, then suddenly stopped. "See you tomorrow, Emily," he said. I froze. I'd never told him my name. He winked, turned, and jogged away into the growing darkness. I ran home, burst through my aunt's door, completely panicked. I told her everything. She sat me down and told me the truth. 6 years ago, a jogger had gone missing in this town. A woman named Rachel, 26 years old. She'd been training for a marathon, running the same path every evening. One night, she never came home. They found her body 3 weeks later, deep in the woods off the creek path. She'd been, I won't go into details, but it was bad. They never caught who did it. But witnesses reported seeing a man jogging near that path around the time Rachel disappeared. Tall, athletic, sandy blonde hair, wearing a red running shirt, always smiling. The police questioned him. He had an alibi, said he ran that path every single night and hadn't seen anything. No evidence linked him to the crime, so they had to let him go. He's still out there, my aunt said, still running that path. Every single night. I never walked that path again. I left Vermont 2 days later. But here's the thing that haunts me. Before I left, I looked up Rachel online, found her Facebook page. Her last post was from the day she disappeared. A photo of the creek path at sunset, beautiful golden light through the trees. The caption read, "Day 1095 of my running streak. Same path, same time, every day for 3 years. Never breaking the routine. 3 years. Same path, same time. The exact same words he'd said to me. I think he wasn't just running that path. I think he was reliving something, over and over, and he wanted me to be part of it, to replace Rachel, to become the new routine. My name is David. I'm 34, married, got 2 kids of my own now. But what happened when I was 17? I've never been able to explain it. It was the summer before my senior year. I was working a night job at a warehouse, loading trucks. Paid well, but the shifts were brutal, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I didn't have a car, so I walked. About 2 miles from my house to work. The route took me through a pretty safe suburban area. Tree-lined streets, nice houses, good lighting. The only creepy part was this one stretch, maybe a quarter mile, where I had to walk past an old elementary school. The school had been abandoned for years. Budget cuts or something. The building was still there, just empty, waiting to be torn down. Chain link fence around the whole property. Windows dark, playground equipment rusted and broken. I walked past it every night for 2 months without incident. But then, one night in August, everything changed. It was about 3 a.m. My break had run long, so I was leaving work later than usual. The street was dead quiet. That eerie 3 a.m. silence, where even the insects seemed to stop making noise. As I approached the school, I heard something that made my blood turn to ice. Singing. Children's voices. Singing a song I recognized from when I was in elementary school. Ring Around the Rosie. Pocket full of posies. It was coming from inside the school, from the dark building that had been empty for 5 years. I stopped walking, told myself I was hearing things. Exhausted from work, sleep deprived, but the singing continued. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Multiple voices. Kids, maybe a dozen of them, high-pitched and clear. I should have run, should have called the police. But instead, and I don't know why, I walked closer to the fence, peered through the chain link at the dark building, and I saw them, in one of the second-floor windows, silhouetted against a faint, flickering light, children, standing in a circle, holding hands. They were singing and moving in a circle, playing Ring Around the Rosie, just like kids do. At 3 in the morning, in an abandoned school, my rational brain tried to make sense of it. Homeless people, squatters with kids. But no, these were children, young kids. Who brings children to an abandoned building in the middle of the night? The singing stopped. All at once, total silence. Then slowly, in perfect unison, all the children turned their heads toward the window, toward me. I couldn't see their faces, just dark silhouettes, but I knew they were looking right at me. One of them raised a hand and pointed. The others joined, all of them pointing at me. Then they started singing again, but this time different words. David's walking home alone, all alone, all alone. David's walking home alone, won't make it home tonight. They knew my name. They were singing about me. I ran. I don't remember deciding to run. My body just did it. I sprinted down that street faster than I'd ever moved, my backpack bouncing against me, my lungs burning. Behind me, the singing grew louder, impossibly loud, like it was following me, echoing off the houses. Won't make it home tonight. Won't make it home tonight. I ran for blocks. Didn't stop until I reached a busy intersection with a 24-hour gas station. There were people there. Light. Safety. I collapsed against the wall, gasping, my whole body shaking. The singing had stopped. I called my dad, woke him up, told him everything. He picked me up, and we drove past the school on the way home. Dark, empty, silent, no lights, no children, nothing. He thought I'd had some kind of episode. Stress from work and school. Maybe I'd fallen asleep on my feet and dreamed it. I wanted to believe that. But when we got home, our mom was waiting up. She looked terrified. Did something happen? She asked immediately. Dad and I exchanged glances. Why? He asked. Because I just got a call from Mrs. Henderson across the street. She said she was woken up by children singing outside. A whole group of them, walking down our street at 3 in the morning. She said they stopped in front of our house, stood there for several minutes, singing. Then they just walked away, disappeared. She called the police, but by the time they arrived, the children were gone. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. I quit my job 2 days later, told them it was for personal reasons. But here's the worst part, the thing that still gives me nightmares. A week later, I was talking to an old teacher from that elementary school. Mentioned a weird experience. She got very quiet. "What night was this?" she asked. I told her the date, August 17th. Her face went completely white. "David, that's the anniversary." "Anniversary of what?" She didn't want to tell me, but eventually she did. 23 years ago, August 17th, there was an incident at that school. A field trip bus was taking kids home after a late event. 13 children and 1 teacher. The bus crashed. Something about the brakes failing. It went off a bridge and into a ravine. Everyone on the bus died. 13 children, ages 6 to 9. The crash happened at exactly 3:07 a.m. I looked up the incident, found old newspaper articles, and there, in a photo of the victims, I recognized the window, the same second-floor window where I'd seen them singing. That had been their classroom. I don't walk alone at night anymore, and I never, ever go near that street on August 17th, because I know they're still there, still playing, still singing, and they're always looking for someone new to join their game. My name is Jessica. What I'm about to tell you happened 6 months ago, and I still can't walk home without having a full panic attack. I'm a nurse. I work 12-hour shifts at a hospital downtown, and I usually get off around 11 p.m. I live in an apartment building about a mile away, close enough that I'd always walked home. Good exercise, clear my head after a long shift, save money on parking. The walk takes me through a pretty standard urban area, busy during the day, quieter at night, but there are always a few people around. Street lights, businesses, the occasional late-night dog walker. I'd made this walk hundreds of times. Never had a single problem. Until that night. It was a Wednesday in March. Cold, but not freezing. My shift had been exhausting. We'd lost a patient, and I was emotionally drained. I just wanted to get home, take a hot shower, and sleep. I left the hospital around 11:15. The first few blocks were normal. I passed a couple walking their dog, a guy smoking outside a bar. Normal city night sounds. Cars in the distance. Music from somewhere. But then, I became aware of something else. Breathing. Not my own breathing. Someone else's. Close behind me. Heavy. Labored. Like someone who'd been running, but was trying to catch their breath while walking. I slowed down slightly, expecting whoever it was to pass me. But they slowed down too, maintaining the exact same distance behind me. I could hear it clearly now. Deep, rasping breaths. In and out. In and out. Steady and rhythmic. My heart started racing. I pulled out my phone, pretended to check a message, and used the black screen as a mirror to look behind me. Nothing. The sidewalk behind me was empty, but I could still hear it. The breathing. Right behind me. I started walking faster. The breathing kept pace. I could feel it now, actually feel it. Warm air on the back of my neck, like someone's face was inches from me. I spun around. Nothing. Just an empty sidewalk under yellow streetlights. "Hello," I called out. My voice sounded small and scared. No response, but the breathing continued. Closer now. I broke into a jog. I'm not a runner, but adrenaline kicked in. I could hear my own footsteps echoing off the buildings, and beneath them, those awful breaths, keeping pace, never falling behind. I ran faster. The breathing matched me. I could feel it on my ear now. In my ear, like someone was running beside me, their mouth right next to my head, breathing in sync with my panic. I was 4 blocks from home when I saw another person, a man walking his dog on the other side of the street. I screamed for help, actually screamed. He looked over, startled, saw me standing there, alone on the sidewalk, clearly terrified. "Are you okay?" he called out. "Do you hear it?" I gasped. "The breathing? Do you hear someone breathing?" He looked confused, concerned. "I know, I don't hear anything. Are you?" That's when it happened. The breathing stopped. Just stopped. Complete silence. The man crossed the street with his dog, asking if I needed him to call someone. I must have looked insane, but I couldn't explain. How could I explain that I'd been chased by invisible breathing? He offered to walk me home. I accepted. I wasn't too proud to admit I was terrified. The rest of the walk was quiet, normal, no breathing. The guy was nice, made small talk, probably thought I was on drugs or having a mental breakdown. When we reached my building, I thanked him profusely. He waited until I was inside before leaving. I stood in my apartment lobby, trying to calm down. Told myself I'd imagined it. Stress, exhaustion, grief from losing the patient. My mind playing tricks. Then I rode the elevator to my floor. Walked down the hallway to my apartment. Put my key in the lock. And I heard it again. Right behind me. So close I could feel warmth on my neck. The same heavy, labored breathing. I unlocked my door so fast I nearly broke the key. Lunged inside. Slammed the door shut. Locked it. Both locks. The chain. Everything. I stood there, my back against the door, my whole body shaking. And from the other side of the door, the breathing continued. For 5 minutes, I listened to it. This thing, whatever it was, standing right outside my apartment. Breathing. Just breathing. Then, slowly, I heard footsteps. Moving away down the hallway. Getting fainter. And finally, silence. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. I had my boyfriend come stay with me. I told him everything. He believed something had scared me, even if he couldn't explain what. I haven't walked home alone since. I drive now, even though parking costs a fortune. I take taxis when my car's in the shop. I will never walk those streets at night again. But here's what really terrifies me. What keeps me up at night even now. 2 weeks after this happened, I was talking to one of the other nurses at work. Older woman, been working there for 30 years. I mentioned that I'd been spooked walking home, and now I always drive. She got this strange look on her face. "What street do you walk on?" she asked. I told her. She nodded slowly. I used to walk that route too. 20 years ago. I stopped after what happened. What happened? She hesitated. Then she told me. A long time ago, back in the 70s, there was a man who attacked women on that exact street. Multiple victims over several years. He would follow them, getting closer and closer, until he was close enough to grab them. The victims who survived said the same thing. They never saw him until he was right on top of them, but they always heard him first. His breathing. He had some kind of respiratory condition. Asthma or COPD, maybe. Made him breathe heavily, especially when he was excited. When he was hunting, they eventually caught him. He died in prison in 1983. Lung disease. I asked her why she'd never mentioned this before. She looked at me with these sad, knowing eyes and said, "Because, honey, just because someone's dead doesn't mean they stop hunting." I've tried to rationalize it. Auditory hallucinations. Stress. Coincidence. But deep down, I know what I heard. And sometimes, late at night, when I'm lying in bed in my locked apartment, I can still hear it, just outside my door, breathing, waiting. Those were 5 true stories of walking home alone, and the horrors that can follow you in the darkness. If any of these stories resonated with you, or if you have your own terrifying experience walking home alone, share it in the comments below. And remember, always stay aware of your surroundings. You never know what might be walking behind you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another terrifying story. Until next time, stay safe out there, and maybe take a long way home tonight.